Good evening, and I want to thank you for joining us tonight for our monthly live stream, Kankakee Chats. We hope you had a great start to the new year. Can't believe that we're already through the month of January. Every month, I host a live stream to give community updates, and we enjoy having guests throughout our community. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Please feel free to ask questions during the live stream. Joining us tonight is my special guest, our Kankakee United, our leadership team. We will have our legal counsel, the executive director of the Economic and Community Development Agency, our ECDA, and our chief of police, deputy chief of police as well. We also have a new intern, Jasmine, another Jasmine. She's working under the direction of the mayor's office and Kankakee United. She is a student at Trinity Christian College, and we are excited to have her on board. We will get more into all of this during our public safety update in just a bit. However, we're going to start with a few updates at this time. In regard to mitigation measures and COVID-19 updates, Governor Pritzker and the Illinois Department of Public Health announced this month that we are currently operating under Tier 1 mitigations. This means indoor establishments, including restaurants, gatherings, meetings, and room capacity is now at 25% or no more than 25 people in a room. I just want to commend our Kankakee County Health Department, both of the hospitals and all of our medical personnel who are working tirelessly to make sure that we keep our community healthy and safe. Our numbers are going down in Region 7, which is Kankakee and Will counties, and that's why we have moved back into Tier 1 mitigation. So let's continue to wear our mask and do the things that we need to do to be safe. We have received a number of calls and emails about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. For those who are interested, we have included a direct link on the city's website that will lead you to the Kankakee County Health Department. From there, you can sign up and be put on a waiting list, and once it becomes available, the health department will contact you. I also want to remind you that we do have a COVID-19 resource hub located at the top of the city's website with frequently asked questions, resources, the vaccination plan, updates from our health officials, and more. We hope that this is helpful to you to answer some of the questions you may have. City Council will remain virtual for the first City Council meeting next month via Zoom on Monday, February 1st. It's early next month, our first meeting, 7 p.m. If you have a public comment, you are allowed to come into the council chambers, give your comments with a mask, and then you will be asked to exit the chamber following your comment. In regard to applications for Bounce Back Kankakee, we now have some funding to support our business owners again, so those applications are open. Assistance is on a first come, first served basis, and if you need assistance, you should be directed to Brad Benoit, who's our Business Retention and Attraction Coordinator. You can call him at 815-933-0488 to schedule an appointment, and Brad will assist you with the application process. Again, 815-933-0488, and as Bounce Back Kankakee, this amount of funding that we have is for business owners at this time. Hobby Avenue. I cannot tell you all how excited I am about this project. This is a regional project that has impact not only on the eastern side of Kankakee, but also connecting to Route 50. So we have a project that has been on the list for about 10 years to receive federal funding. The city is going to be improving from Court Street, making improvements from Court Street all the way down to Fair Street. This project is long overdue. Many people who live in that ward, 1st and 7th wards, can tell you about the drainage issues that they've endured over decades. It's been a flood zone, there's been poor pavement conditions, and many safety concerns. So we are now taking public comments through Thursday, February 18th. We will have a virtual presentation. It's going to be conducted via Zoom on Thursday, February 4th at 6:30 p.m. And at this time, the engineering team will be presenting the project with some graphics and other designs. It will provide you an opportunity to directly ask questions to the project team, and you can head to www.hobbyavenue.com for more information. Hobby is unique because it divides the 1st and 7th ward. So on the east side of Hobby Avenue is the 7th ward, and on the west side of Hobby Avenue is the 1st ward. So again, this project is going to have significant impact not only for the city of Kankakee, but regionally, because this is the main thoroughfare to the eastern side of the county. Lots of trucks come through there from Bradley, and again, we are just really excited to see these updates that are long overdue. Our ECDA team, will be partnering with the city council members from each ward to conduct needs assessments in each neighborhood. And the first meeting for the year kicked off for Ward 4. So I want to congratulate our ECDA team. They do such a great job. Our administration is very committed to inclusiveness, and we want to make sure that we are hearing as many voices in our community as possible. Oftentimes we hear from the same people, sometimes the unhappy people that are loud and frequent, but it doesn't necessarily reflect the entire community. So we really want to be intentional and start having these meetings in the wards with the city council members and the residents who live there. And the purpose of doing that is to find out what are the needs in the ward, what do the residents in that ward expect from the dollars that we receive for the city of Kankakee. So I want to thank Alderwoman Danita Swanson and Alderman Jim Fafford, who currently are the representatives in that ward. And we will continue to have these meetings throughout the city. Each month, those meetings are going to rotate, and they're going to be held virtually until further notice. The schedule has been posted under press releases as well, so you can see when the ECDA team will be coming to you. More great news with our ECDA team. They recently received a grant. We are always excited because that's free money. And I'm very proud of this because when we decided in the city of Kankakee to establish an ordinance that would allow us to have adult use cannabis in the city, the Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton, appointed me to the R3 board, and that's the Restore, Reinvest, and Renew board. And part of the revenues that are collected from the expansion of adult use cannabis sales are then managed through this board. And so the city of Kankakee has been designated as an R3 zone. We have a couple areas in the city. And the purpose of this legislation is to address the war on drugs, where people of color were incarcerated at very harsh sentences and disenfranchised. And this money is to go back into the community to invest in those areas where those people live and to provide opportunities such as job training and to remove barriers to employment and some other things. So serving on this board has been a long process to get through our first round of grant applications, and I'm pleased to announce that the ECDA was awarded $28,723 for an analysis of impediments to fair housing report, and that's required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development every 5 years. So I know they were really excited to receive these resources. I'm excited about it, and I'm going to continue to fight for the city of Kankakee and make sure that the state is aware of the issues that we have here so that we can utilize those funds to improve our city. ICEJA has announced 80 grants that total $31.5 million to organizations that will help communities hardest hit by the failed war on drugs through the R3 program. So we are really, really pleased about that, to see investment going back into these neighborhoods. Food pantries, we were receiving quite a few calls. An updated list for hours and dates for local food pantries in the area have been added to the city's website. I also sent a letter out a few weeks ago to let people know. As I stated, Lynn was receiving some calls. People have contacted me about food, and we know that especially during this time of the pandemic, when people have reduced hours or have been laid off, that food has become an issue, and we want to make sure that our families have access to food. So please check our website for those resources. I also want to commend and thank both of our hospitals, Amita Health St. Mary's and Riverside, as they continue to host mobile food pantries in partnership with the Northern Illinois Food Bank. The 2021 dates have been added, and that information is also listed. The Salvation Army continues to provide lunches daily on weekdays from 12 to 1 p.m. That's for carry-out only, and they are located at 148 North Harrison Avenue in Kankakee. I just want to give a shout out to the Kankakee County Community Services Incorporated agency that is led under Pastor Vincent Clark. The city partners with his agency at least a couple times a year to collect food for his pantry, and he has continued to make sure that he provides that resource to the community as well. Job openings. City is currently seeking a building inspector, that's under the code department, and a driver operator, and I believe that one is under the DPW. So please be sure to check our current listings for job openings under the government tab of the website, which is citykankakee-il.gov, and that's 2 words, citykankakee-il.gov. Click on Human Resources. I also have a great outreach team. They have come up with a cute idea for Valentine's Day called Love My City, Love My Recipes. I introduced Love My City over a year ago to the city of Kankakee to encourage pride about our city, and to highlight the wonderful things that we all appreciate about living here in the city of Kankakee. So this month, we want to thank those who submitted recipes for Love My City, Love My Recipe. We had a community ebook during the holidays last month that's available to download on the city's website. And we want to congratulate Cynthia Veranda for winning a $50 gift card to groceries at Burkott's. Love My City, Love My Sweetie. So this one is directed to Kankakee business owners. Valentine's Day is coming up, and we're looking to put together a digital coupon book just in time for the holiday. So we are calling it Sweetie Specials. If you have a special you would like to submit, you can do so on our website for Love My City, Love My Sweetie. Coupon book will be available for download on Friday, February 12th. Another fun event we have from outreach is the Black History Month City Spotlight. We know that February is Black History Month, and we would like to recognize our local leaders in a city spotlight. We are asking the community to nominate those who are making a difference for Black history and advocating for change to submit them on the website. We will then invite those who have been recommended to Kankakee Chats and feature them for their contributions in the community. So those are the updates that I have. And I also want to make the community aware that through the National League of Cities, the City Council, we did adopt a racial healing proclamation that was following Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. That is serious work that we need to do, not only in the city of Kankakee, but our country, and I'm committed to doing that work. And so we started out with a discussion from the National League of Cities with City Council, and then we had a community discussion. But we are continuing to figure out how we're going to implement some strategies and start to be comfortable with having the conversation, and then look at how we can work together to make the community more equitable for everyone who lives here. So I just want you to know that that work is continuing to go on behind the scenes, and you'll hear more about that. Now we have our Kankakee United team here. As I mentioned earlier, I like to have a guest, and when Jasmine came on board, as you all know, she has a background in news and production, and this is one of her strengths. And so we've started inviting people from the community to participate in the live stream, the chats updates. And I think it just helps our community to learn more about what's going on and who the players are, and it's been a good addition to our programming. So this month we have the Kankakee United team with a public safety update, and we want to discuss an issue that continues to weigh heavy on all of us, and that's the gun violence that's been happening in our city, which is unacceptable. While we continue to implement new protocols, technology, programming for our youth and more, it's going to take every single stakeholder in this community: residents, business owners, notable leaders, the faith-based ministry, elected officials, our police department. We all have to come together as a whole. Our police also need our cooperation in helping to solve the crimes. Building and maintaining mutual respect for one another leads to a healthy and positive relationship. A relationship that also needs to be established across the board between our officers and the community. We have a lot of good officers. We have a lot of officers that work very well with our youth, but we need to continue to build those relationships. Tonight, we are here to share additional information with you as the city continues down this long road of tackling gun violence. I'm going to now turn this over to our police, Chief Frank Cosman and Deputy Chief Willie Hunt. They are going to be providing some police data and updated crime numbers. And gentlemen, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start this section of the meeting up. I have Deputy Chief Hunt start going over some of the statistics for comparables for the last 3 years, and then I'll become involved with some other information and making comments on that. So, Deputy Chief, if you can go ahead.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for attending the meeting. And I'm going to talk about two things, two separate calls that we have that we keep track of within the police department. We have shot fired calls for service and shots fired cases. And the difference between the two is when we get a call for shots fired, it's just for service if we don't find any material or any evidence or anything or any damage. It's just an incident. It's just a call for service. But when we have a case, usually we have a victim, some damage to properties, or shell casing something for evidence. In 2017, we had 299 shots fired calls. In 2018, we had 259. 2019, 332. In 2020, 381. But I like to add to that, that's when we also implemented the shot spotter. So the cases in 2017 was 115. In 2018, we had 86. In 2019, we had 120. And in 2020, we had 146 cases, shot fired cases. And one thing that I want to point out that with the shot spotter system, that it picks up, although we only have a certain area that we paid to be monitored, it also pick up other shootings in the city. I want to piggyback on what the mayor said about building relationships and partnerships with the community to help solve some of these shootings. We need the community help in participating as a partner when it comes to policing. We can't do it all. We're usually the last ones to get the call to an incident, but the community have some knowledge of what's going on. We're looking to partner with local organizations to provide mentoring and activities for the youth And my favorite quote is by Frederick Douglass, and he stated that it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. So we would like to start with the youth in the community to build them up, show them positive role models through the police department. We have the Strong House, we have an officer there. So there's things in the making in the months to come that the police department is looking to implement. COVID-19 really hit us bad because we weren't able to have the Citizens Academy, and that's been one of our strong points, showing the community what we're about. And we usually get a lot of participation with the city Citizens Academy. But this year, we're going to also try to implement the Teen Academy at the Strong House. And I believe that will be something good and something new for the community, especially in that area in the second ward. The second ward and the first ward was two of the main wards that we were focusing on. Not that the other wards weren't important, but those two wards were where we were having most of our gun violence. Chief?
Yes, thank you. The overall crime rate for the city has been stable for the last 3 years. It is about 1,000 of the uniform crime. That report, that's the top eight crimes that are in the that are kept track of by the state of Illinois and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We follow the trend. We've been following the trend though that has happened throughout the nation, where the violent crime portion of that has gone up. So it has before it was last few years have been just under 200 violent crimes. We're just over 200 violent crimes. So there is a number that have gone up. We're unfortunately, any increase is not a good reflection on us or the police or community, but it is something that we are working on and trying to reduce. Violent. How we're working on it, mostly the latest program that we came up with, well, to a couple of them. One is with COVID, as we still maintain trying to keep a good relationship with the community and keep the community informed. So we will be able to do all of our their ring program for the neighborhood watch program, and be communicating and keeping the open lines of communication with the community during these difficult times. We've also started on November 9th. The city agreed to the implementation of the Shot Spotter program. Since then, we've had 73 alerts in town in the area that it's being in place. Those 73 alerts help us in responding to scenes quicker and be able to, find, in cases where we've come in there, we've actually been able to find the offender. And it also, we're able to give assistance to get medical aid come there in a more timely fashion for anyone who's injured. So we think it's got a double prong effect on helping us to respond to shooting kind of situations, because it gives us the specifics that we need in order to go into an area, know exactly where it's happening, and we respond there also quicker than the traditional way of waiting for the call in and getting a call to come in if we do get a call. We're finding that we're getting a lot of more reports because and not getting calls where we respond there before we get any calls. The other thing that the Deputy Chief alluded to is last week we found out that Shot Spotter system, even though we only have it for a certain area in town, it gives us more information that the company has decided to change their policy and share that with us. So we'll have more of an analytical tool, and so we will be able to check more of the area of town. And now that we're getting more data, we'll be able to analyze it more. I'll be meeting with some crime analysts next week about how we can put that to use in having more directed patrol and finding areas that are more problematic, and actually using tools not just in that area, but being able to identify problem residences, houses, where we're able to use our chronic nuisance ordinance, and also just have an extra patrol and checking on the neighborhood there. We are also implementing a program where we got door hangers. So when we go to those scenes And, in the area the day afterwards, we knock on doors to see if anyone knows anything and that can help us. And also we need to put the door hangers in there. We're having good assistance from the community, and it's with the cameras are also helping us immensely with the situation. As an example, just last night, there was a shooting. I won't get into the locations or anything like that, but we got a shot spotter alert. We went there. We were able to, then the following day, the detectives looked into it more. We know exactly where it happened and exactly the time instead of just a general broad area. And we're able to find security cameras that are able to give us, now we actually have a view of what happened at the situation so that detectives have more to follow up on. So it is working positively for us, and in time, we'll hope we'll cut those numbers of the number of shootings. Thank you.
Okay, I don't believe Mary Lou is available yet. We're going to have Mary Lou Norwell, who is our in-house counsel here at the city, provide an update. Recently, we've had some people that are having parties.
Not sure who was next to give a present. I could keep going, but I figure other people want to present too.
I'm sorry, Chief, I was muted.
Okay.
Mary Lou Norwell is next, and she is our in-house counsel. She's teaching a class, and she'll be jumping on shortly. But I just wanted to let the community know that we've had a number of house parties. Back in the day when we were in high school, Pastor Clark, house parties weren't bad. We had good music and danced and ate food, but some of these recent incidents have occurred as a result of these house parties. One in particular called Club No-No, which Mary Lou is going to provide an update once she gets on. So we'll come back to her, but I just want the community to know that we are taking action against these adults who are hosting parties with no business license, with no liquor license, and we will shut them down. And so she'll be giving some updates about that. So we'll move on to our ECDA team with an update on the security camera program and the Strong Neighborhoods Home.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mayor. Hi, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Rachel Schramm, and I am the Community Outreach Coordinator at the ECDA office. And then also my incredible Executive Director, Barbie Brewer-Watson, is on this call. She is having me start us off talking about some updates with our private security camera incentive program, as well as Strong Neighborhoods. So I'm going to quickly share my screen because we do have some presentation elements with this section, as well as Kankakee United later. So let me pull that up real quick. And then can everybody see that okay? Let me go to present. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So for those who have not heard, we did launch our private security camera incentive program, and this is on our website. You can find it on the City of Kankakee homepage or on our ECDA homepage, and this was launched because of direct feedback from residents. I really want to commend Barbie here. She put this program together along with collaborating with Mayor and some other incredible local businesses. They are listening to what residents have to say about public safety and these concerns, and they are working tirelessly to create solutions as much as possible. I know there's a lot of feedback about constant meetings, but meetings like these are important because we are trying to be as transparent and open with the public as possible on these types of initiatives that are being created, as well as continually hearing that feedback. And so this program, it creates an incentive for residents, businesses, nonprofits, religious institutions, any property entity in Kankakee to install security cameras to help deter crime and assist law enforcement with investigations, just as Chief was saying. It's been proven in different studies in other communities that have launched camera programs that it can help deter specifically for sure smaller crimes. Like I know a lot of us were frustrated with some package burglary all over the county, really, not just Kankakee, especially around the holiday seasons, but even more so help build trust between our police departments and residents to help deter that crime. It's been proven other places, and we're so excited to continually help equip residents and different businesses and properties with a camera in our area as well. And so this program offers a rebate for the purchase of security cameras cameras, specifically a door cam, a single door cam on the exterior of a property. And this, again, was made from donations by our local businesses. And so that's just so incredible how quickly, honestly, this program was put together and the passion behind it. And it works pretty simply. So if you're a residential property or a resident, you can be rebated up to $100 to get a door cam. It doesn't have to be a Ring camera. We do want to specify that. It can be any door cam. Ring does work best with some of the apps that a lot of our residents use to stay in touch about some crime, but it can be any door cam. You can be rebated up to $100, and then if you're any other type of property, up to $50 for one security camera. It does need to be installed on the exterior of the building. And then we do ask that residents would provide permission and access to their camera voluntarily to the police department. Let's say if there was a crime committed, right outside their door. If that could catch some evidence or help us potentially see a perpetrator or help, again, just deter that crime, that is the goal of this for everyone who is a resident who lives or works in Kankakee. So, and again, there is no specific camera registration. It's not just going to be someone accessing your camera freely at any time. That's not how this works. All the information we receive from you to get a camera rebate, that will be kept completely confidential. So that information you submit with your application that's found online, that's confidential and kept with us, just to clarify that. So we do want to give priority to some of the areas that have been having higher crime rates than others. So the police service areas, they're quickly listed here, but again, on the main page of the city website and the main page of our ECDA webpage, which is linked to the city website, you can find the application and the guidelines, which has all this information and more, easily accessible for you to download. And the application, you can fill it out and drop that off to our ECDA office, as well with the receipt for that door cam. Again, it's really easy. Download the application. That's how you apply. And if this is confusing for you or you still have any more questions, you want to discuss something that you see in the guidelines that maybe you're a little confused about wording or just maybe something to do with the rebate, you can email us at yourvoice@citykankakee-il.gov or call our main office at 815-933-0506. And we do want to thank the 4 businesses who really helped us launch this program, and that is First Trust Bank, River Valley Recycling, Curtis Nugent Real Estate, and Crawford's Barbershop. And if other businesses would like to be financial contributors to this down the road, please feel free to connect with us as well. We want to equip as many residents as possible and properties, any businesses, nonprofits, with cameras so that we can continue taking care of our city and taking care of our community members. And I remember Mayor using the term being like a village and having each other's back. And I love that. And I want us to be collaborative in that way. And we are here for you in that way to help make those solutions possible. So, and then real quick, we have been talking a lot about our Strong Neighborhoods program, which is a partnership between the City of Kankakee and United Way. And the first house is our Elm House, located in the City of Kankakee. Strong Neighborhoods, if you haven't heard of it, it's a collaborative, community-led approach to neighborhood change. It aligns investments and resources to support residents' aspirations. And also its vision is basically that residents in the area surrounding the house, like an 8 to 10 block radius outside where the house is, can live within safe, stable environments, and that they have easier access to receiving different social service needs or different resources that they may need in their specific neighborhood and community. So again, it's a wonderful partnership between United Way of Kankakee and Iroquois counties and the City of Kankakee, and we are so excited for what the potential of this house and what it can hold. We want to do direct assistance and programming and make that available for residents. United Way is really overseeing that portion right now and looking to make some of those decisions. So they're taking the time to connect and develop corporate sponsorships. So again, if that's something you have a question about, you can call their office or email them. I put their contact information on this slide. Or again, our office and information. If you don't remember where to find it, just go right onto the City of Kankakee website to our page, and it's listed right on there. Or you can give any of us a call, and we'll make sure you get transferred to the right place. And then they're also continuing to apply to grants for funding. and they're looking to establish a steering committee and working groups. And so what that would look like is they don't want to be the only ones making the programming decisions for that neighborhood. They want to be working with the residents who live there and who want to have heavy involvement in that house. So the steering committee will be made up of a couple, a leader from the city of Kankakee and a leader from United Way, but also residents who have expressed interest in being a part of that and helping steer truly those decisions. So they're also strategically planning ways to continue furnishing the home to make it comforting and inviting and welcoming to those residents in the area who can come in. And they will put any updates on when they're open, for walk-in hours, or for other activities and events and programming. They do have a Facebook page, which is the Strong Neighborhoods Elm House. Again, if you have a hard time finding anything on the internet, or you just can't quite take your notes down quick enough during this, you can go back and watch the recording, or again, just call or email us at any time. And so I do want to break for a moment just to see if there were any questions that arose, or Barbie, if there was anything you would like to add. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay. Barbie, did you have anything? You good?
Rachel, you did a great job. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
She always does a great job.
Yeah. Just want to say, too, it's important to note that all of these efforts come out of leadership and the mayor's administration about listening to the residents. And so it's so important that the camera program and the Strong Neighborhoods House, how that's getting structured, and the partnerships and the programs that will take place there, along with everything else you're going to hear tonight, is really all about engaging with residents, hearing their feedback. We are listening to you. So I know, again, we are hearing that there's conversation about meetings, but these meetings help us make these kind of programs come to life. So we do need to hear from you. Keep sending us your comments and your feedback so that we can create programs like this, and then also find ways to evolve these programs, right? And serve better needs, bigger needs, however we can make things better. So I just want to say, that's so important to how these things got created and how we are serving the community. So I don't know, was there any questions that came through?
I have some questions, not necessarily related to these items, but I'm just going to answer a couple because it's from one person. His name is Scott. Scott, thank you for tuning in tonight. You have a lot of questions. I feel like we need to sit down and have a cup of tea. But I'm going to answer a couple of them, and then we'll keep working through here. So one is, when do we expect to see a decrease in property taxes? The city of Kankakee's portion of your taxes have decreased for 3 consecutive years. I'm really proud of that. We levy for our taxes every December, and this is the 3rd year when we sent over our levy that tax rate was decreased. Now keep in mind that when you look at your tax bill, there are a number of taxing bodies that levy taxes. The school district takes up most of the taxes, and they have increased their taxes over the past several years. But the city has lowered taxes. KCC tax, there's a tax from KCC. There's a tax from Kankakee County, the Forest Preserve, the Park District. All of these entities levy their own taxes. So the city only controls the city portion of the taxes. And again, for the 3rd consecutive year, your taxes for the city of Kankakee have decreased. I'll also take another question he asked. Let's see here. Downtown looks wonderful. Why haven't we stopped city stickers? The city stickers provide about $475,000 or so for funding for our general fund. So we use the general fund predominantly to pay the salaries of our employees and for some other items to run the city, like office supplies and, different things like that. So as part of our general fund budget, it is something that has been kind of a thorn in everyone's side for a number of years. It's something that I would like for us to be able to work toward decreasing, but we are in the middle of a pandemic, as you know. And as a result of that pandemic, we have lost a lot of our revenue. So we get revenue to the city from sales tax, from property taxes, from video gaming, from licenses for liquor and other areas. Because we had to shut down to keep all of us safe and healthy, we've seen a decrease in those revenues that we usually get in. So at this time, I don't honestly see us being able to remove the city vehicle sticker or to reduce it. But it's a great question, and it's something that we will continue to look at as we move forward. So I took 2 questions. Mary Lou has joined us. I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. As I stated earlier before she got here, she's our in-house attorney. Recently joined us. She's been a great addition to the team. She's here with the city on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. She works in the administration building at 304 South Indiana on the 2nd floor. And if you have questions about anything pertaining to legal matters related to the city, this is your point of contact. Mary Lou has been working closely with our police department to address these house parties, not the ones that Aaron and I knew about back in the day. The new version house parties that are not good for our community. And we are taking this issue very seriously, and we are holding these people accountable. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary Lou at this time to talk about the work that she's doing to address these houses.
Thank you, Mayor, for that wonderful introduction. And I'd just like to add that part of my background is that I was a state's attorney for a very long time. So I enjoy working with the community, with the people of the community, and the police as well. And what we're doing here in addressing these house parties is we're finding ways to support our police with the house parties that have resulted into shootings, as well as to help keep our neighborhoods safe. And what I've been doing lately is I've been working very closely with the Kankakee Fire Department in working and doing what we call administrative search warrants. And these warrants are different than like criminal warrants where, they're searching for evidence of a crime. What we're looking for here is evidence of a violation of maybe our city code, the fire code, or the any type of commercial code. And let me kind of walk you through the process. What happens is that when we hear that there was one of these parties in a neighborhood, it's different than a party, as the mayor said, that she and Aaron may have gone to, because these are parties that have 50 or more people, that charge money to get into, that have DJs, they charge money for the liquor, okay? So it's not a party, it really is a business, okay? And so what we're looking at is that they're selling liquor. It would be a violation of our liquor code. If they're having a business and without a business license, they are in violation of the business code. Let me just talk about this one property that we did. They did an administrative search warrant on, which advertised its parties on Facebook as Club No-No. And Club No-No, it was having parties all throughout the winter, advertising on Facebook. And they were having parties in a garage, okay? Closing the garage doors and only using the service door, the small service door, to allow 50 to 100 people in on each. There's no running water. The electricity was run through a cable from the house, an extension cord from the house, okay? And just think of it, all these people, a DJ working there, that is a tinderbox ready to go up in a garage, okay? The big door was not open, all right? And the police department had come, and there was a few complaints from neighbors, and that's how we hear about these things, is that there's complaints from neighbors or maybe a 911 call, and we hear about it. And I work with the fire, as I said, the fire department. It's Captain Casagrande over there who really does the work on these. these administrative search warrants, and he started just watching Facebook, and they were posting pictures of all the people in there, and you can count on one hand all of the violations of our municipal code, not necessarily the criminal code, but the police go after. That's why I'm saying we're supporting them in that. And he prepares an affidavit, just like in a criminal warrant, goes before a judge, and the judge, if the judge believes that violations have occurred, has signed this warrant, and then they go in and they search the place, just as they would in a criminal warrant. The difference is, like I said, they're looking for code violations, building code violations, fire code violations, and they can take. In the case of Club No-No, they actually found the pictures, not only pictures, but they found what they were charging for all the liquor and the bottles and everything. And the officers can take that as evidence, or they can take pictures. But normally here we take pictures so as not to disrupt the living place. And at that time, you close them down and you tell them you cannot work anymore, and to stop it. And what you have to do is you have to go through code, and you have to get your apply for your licenses and everything like that. Unfortunately, Club No-No didn't listen to the police or to the fire department and kept doing it throughout all of winter. So what we have done is that we have filed now a case in Kankakee Circuit Court where we're asking the judge for the actual order to stop them. And we'll be going to court on those, on the code violations, and asking for an injunction. Now, the houses where there was the shooting was also, they were renting them out, they were charging money, and they were also in the support of the police. Also, the fire department went in with the administrative search warrant and found that at the location, which had previously been a daycare, that there was not a renter's license, there was not a business license, and once again, no bar license, a liquor license, and that once again, the electricity in there was bad. This is a nightmare. You think about as horrible as it was that these shootings occurred and these people died in these houses that were having these for-profit parties, okay? It's also a chance that these could be tinderboxes, with lots of people inside that could be harmed. So this is one of the ways that we are finding to support the police and try to help keep our neighborhoods safe by going in and shutting these places down and making them, if they're going to be businesses, go out and apply for them. We'll work with you. If you want to open up a bar, we'll work with you, but you have to do it the right way. But by having these back street parties, it's just not going to work. And know that we will come in and work with the police, work with the fire department, our code department, and we'll see what we can do to keep our neighborhoods safe. Any questions?
Thank you, Mary Lou.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to take another.
I've worked very closely with Chief Cosman and Chief Hunt on these issues as well. So.
Okay, thank you, Mary Lou, for that update. I think that's helpful, and I'm glad to have your hands on deck to help us address these issues.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to take another question. Karen says, when can we get new and brighter lights in neighborhoods? Karen, I'm going to direct you to your city council representatives. We have 7 wards in the city of Kankakee, and there are 2 representatives for each ward. I want you to reach out to them. If you don't know who represents you, you can go to the website and do a search, or you can call my office at 815-933-0500, and we'll help you identify who your representatives are. I want them, I'm asking you to reach out to them because they're your first point of contact. They need to know your concerns. They can take a look at the area that you are describing in the ward. And then if we need to consult with ComEd or Pete on the utility side to see if there needs to be some type of lighting study, or if we actually have something already being planned for updates, we can let you know that. We have been replacing some of the lighting on West Court Street, out at exit 308 when you're going out to Walmart down there, and in some other areas. So it may be something that's already in the works, but again, I want you to reach out to City Council, and then they will follow up with the respective department head, either Pete, or we'll get in touch with ComEd to see if we need to do some type of a study. So I hope that's helpful. Let me see. This is from Scott again. Scott had a lot of questions. Hi, Scott. Over the last several years, we have seen an increase of poverty. I don't know that that's true, Scott. I'm first of all going to say that. I don't know where you're getting that information from or what data you're using. Is the project on the east side of Kankakee, Ricky Rock, is going to happen? If so, when? I cannot answer that question. They were supposed to break ground before the end of the year. They have been working on getting financing, but a big challenge they have been up against is the fact that restaurants are struggling right now because of the pandemic. And so it's very difficult to find someone to open a restaurant. They want to bring a national chain to Kankakee when they build on that site. So that has been one of the challenges that they've been facing. I am proud that we have negotiated a much better agreement with them. Under the previous administration, they were going to give half of our sales tax and half of the video gaming from that site back to the developer for 20 years. We've negotiated to not give them any video gaming, and we've made some different additions to that agreement. So I am confident that it will get built. I maintain contact with them every week or so. I talk to the project manager, and as I get more updates, I will provide them to the community. I usually do updates in City Council, every City Council meeting, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is mayor@citykankakee-il.gov if you want to contact me directly. Thank you, Scott. Okay, Kankakee United update. The team is here. So I want to introduce everyone. Lynn is my executive assistant in the mayor's office, my right hand, the voice of reason, the liaison between all the departments, that when you call and there's an issue, she makes sure that things get followed up and people get answers. Might not always be the ones you like, but we make sure we follow up. And she is the city lead. She wears a lot of hats. She's the city lead for the Kankakee United team, which means she's the person that has access to me, but she also is the point of contact with Cities United, our partner. We have Jasmine, who's our marketing and communications coordinator. Very creative, very talented. Jasmine handles all of our communications, press releases, graphics for social media. They are part of the outreach team coordinating events. We have our new intern, Jasmine Elliott from Trinity Christian College. She just started with us a couple weeks ago. She's a social work major, undergrad. Social workers are very special to my heart. As you all know, I am one as well. So we're really happy that the city has been able to provide opportunities for our youth to serve in internships and learn about city government and to become active in the community. Rachel Schramm, who's part of the ECDA team, also started out as an intern from Olivet Nazarene University. The city has built a strong partnership with Olivet, and we've taken several of their students to work with us. And Rachel was one of them, and then we hired her, which happens a lot in internships when you're a great intern. And so she's been working as the community outreach coordinator under the ECDA umbrella. And then we have Pastor Aaron Clark, City Life minister, also works with the Kankakee School District, does some groundbreaking work with our youth on forgiveness to address their trauma and their healing. And we've been really grateful to have him on our team. And last but not least, Dr. Deb Barron, my friend, someone that I look up to and love dearly in our community, who's dedicated her whole life to working with children and helping children and strengthening neighborhoods. So that is our Kankakee United team. Did I get everybody? Okay, I am going to turn it over to Lynn.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to wait until Rachel pulls up our PowerPoint.
And while Rachel's getting ready, for those who don't know, Kankakee United is an initiative. It's our brand here in the city of Kankakee, but it's really modeling off of Cities United. Their headquarters is in Louisville, Kentucky. And it's a coalition of mayors across the country that are working to address gun violence among African American males under the age of 25. The city partnered with Olivet social work students to conduct a study. We looked at data, and we are consistent, even though we are a smaller city, where the other cities that are involved, the Cities United, are larger cities like Baltimore and Little Rock, and Baton Rouge. Even though we are a smaller city, our data is consistent with all the national data, which indicates that about 83% of all incidents of gun violence involves African American males under the age of 25. So we have, Dr. Barron and I went down to Louisville, Kentucky for training for about a week. We've had technical support from Cities United, and then we decided to brand our programming here as Kankakee United. And it's about bringing the community together, stakeholders, business owners, families, schools, churches, everybody, to see how we can address the violence in our city. So I think we're ready to get going with our PowerPoint. I just wanted to give some background about the program. And keep in mind that a program is not the one-all, be-all to ending crime. You know, crime is complex. There's a lot of reasons why violence happens in communities. And this is just one part of the puzzle that we're doing in the city to help address it. So I want to thank this team because a lot of work goes into this. They are dedicated and they work hard and they care about all of our kids and they do great work. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Lynn.
Thanks, Mayor. So our first mission and vision, just to recap what that is, to increase neighborhood engagement, remove employment barriers, address trauma-related concerns by uniting community resources to reduce gun violence involving African American boys and men under the age of 25. So the vision is the city of Kankakee is engaged in community creating opportunities for its residents to lead safe and healthy, productive lives. So the next is our 2020 recap. If some of you don't know, here's the goals and objectives. So again, to increase public safety for all residents, our objective in that respect would be to improve outcomes for young African American men and boys in Kankakee, preventing and addressing childhood trauma related to gun violence. The second objective would be create clear pathways to equitable outcomes and sustainable employment. The third is obviously to support criminal justice reforms aimed at increasing diversion programs and reentry opportunities. So we'll move on to the 2020 recap. Now, these are things, the events that we planned. Of course, everybody, again, experienced the pandemic, so we adjusted and did virtual events as well. The four circled events were some of our more popular events. So in February, we had over 125 students and community members in attendance at the Selma event when we showed the movie Selma. We had, in June, our virtual expungement fair, the partnership with Prairie State Legal Services, where the process began, expungement process began for 33 community members. In July, we received a $2,000 Walmart grant, community grant. And in September, we did a Light Up the Night bike ride event in partnership with the police department, City Life, Country Financial, and Kent Wade. And we had 70 to 80 community members in attendance. I would like to move on into our next phase, which is the newer logo. If you all have seen Kankakee United before, we had a logo that we felt like didn't quite resonate with our target demographic. So we worked with a youth to create this new and updated logo. We also have materials now where we'll, for when we're doing our interviewing skills, resume writing workshops, we have leather pad folios that we can give away now. We also have journals that we want to give away for participants, as well as pins. And then there's our lovely intern modeling our Kankakee United t-shirts. So we'll also be giving those away at different events to use as incentives to get the youth engaged and to take part in our events, in order to address gun violence in the city of Kankakee. So next, for our upcoming events, again, not knowing what the pandemic would hold, we were planning accordingly. So in February, we're able to do now a WIOA workshop with Kankakee Workforce Services Young Adult Program. So Christine Ball will do a presentation. So the youth from ages, I believe, 16 to 24 would be able to explore career opportunities, gain hands-on experience, and build work history. The program recently shifted focus from offering summer employment opportunities to preparing students with job skills and internships throughout the year. So they also have career training assistance up to $10,000 for tuition and $2,500 for books and supplies per program year is available. So you can check out their website, but you can learn more on February 23rd. March, we're planning on reestablish or continuing our partnership with Prairie State Legal Services. We'll be hosting another virtual expungement fair. So if you know anyone in the community that could benefit from this would be a great start. And if they need, it's free. I think that this would be an opportunity to please share the word and, at least talk to the skilled attorneys there that can help begin the expungement process for you.
Lynn?
Yes?
Is that limited to our targeted group ages 16 to 24, or can anybody participate in the expungement fair?
Anyone that is a resident of the city of Kankakee can. Thank you for asking that, Mayor. So anyone that is a resident of the city of Kankakee can participate in this expungement fair. So again, it'll be a week-long event, and we'll have more information on our webpage and social media we'll promote later.
Last question. We did host with Prairie State before. Do you remember how many people were able to get expunged when we held the first one?
Yes, 33 members of the community were able to begin their expungement process.
Okay,
so that was a great number, yes, and we want to keep that going. In April, we want to highlight Youth Violence Prevention Week. Rachel Schramm, our community outreach coordinator, put together a great group of people that represent a host of organizations that want to partner and plan events for this Youth Violence Prevention Week. We will cover topics such as spreading positive norms, crime anxiety, ex-offenders and lessons learned, anti-bullying workshop, as well as therapeutic treatment and other events. So we would like that to be a week-long activity. We're planning it out now, and hopefully we can have youth sign up, and then again, we'll have giveaways, raffles, incentives, in order to keep the students engaged, or the community and young people engaged. The last but not least is our Youth Fellow update. We did have one community member apply for this position. Cities United is currently in the process of interviewing our candidate. The fellowship is an intensive 8-month experience designed for 18 to 24-year-old young leaders. Throughout the fellowship, the young leaders would engage with local leaders, mentors, and national experts to deepen their knowledge, skills, and network. So that would be a great opportunity. We have a young lady that applied for that position. They're doing the interviews now again, and hopefully if she's accepted, she would be our liaison for the community here, and we would definitely invite her into the fold in order to reach other young people. I will pass it over to Jasmine.
Thank you, Lynn. Again, echoing the mayor, and thank you, Mayor, as well. And Lynn, our team is very passionate about what we do. And with that being said, our new webpage. So if you go to our city's webpage, www.citykankakee, that's all one word, -il.gov. If you click under Mayor's Initiatives, we have the Kankakee United webpage listed there. Again, a lot of work goes into the webpage and social media. I, along with my partner, we manage the website and we get a lot of emails daily. We answer questions daily. So I really want to encourage people to reach out to us as well and join us. So going through the webpage, you'll find under updates, Kankakee United News, press releases. I put out at least 3 press releases a week. The mayor is very passionate about keeping our messaging consistent and all of the updates that we're doing in the community. So that is very important to keep the community updated on what not only we're doing, what the city and Kankakee United is doing together. You'll also find upcoming events, a lot of meeting information. We will update our 2021 as soon as we get all of our events finalized, but we are closely monitoring the mitigation measures with the COVID-19 pandemic. You'll also find all of our new photos, our swag. We're really excited. Lynn did a great job along with our intern who created our new logo. It looks amazing, and I'm really excited about the kids and the youth getting involved with this. You will also find many people checking out our presentations. Now, this is one that's really big on our website. People still come to our website to look under our presentations that we did in 2020. The biggest one right now are the top tips and resumes. So that is actually a really helpful resource for our youth. Lynn reached out to KCC, Kankakee Community College, and they partnered with us. This was a really successful event. So if you missed it and you were not able to attend, you can look on our website and those presentations are all uploaded there. Also, we also have our new website and email address. So Kankakee United at citykankakee-il.gov. You can contact us as well. So all of that information is there on the screen. Again, these are stepping stones. So we want to highlight and drive the message that this is a resource that we are using in our community, and we're really proud of it. Also, I want to get next to where you can get involved, and that's really important with us. Sponsoring an event. If you would like to partner with us to put in some funding towards that as well, please reach out to Lynn, our city leader, the mayor. Also, we really need volunteers. I guess that is the really biggest, I would say the biggest thing that we need are people to get involved. And last year we did a movie in Paramount, and that was really fun. I really miss going to the movies and being open, but we were passing out a lot of surveys and raffle tickets, and we really need more hands. Our team is small, but we work hard and we get the job done. But we're really asking the community to get involved and get behind us. The bike ride was another big event with our Kankakee Police Department. We were passing out bike lights. The kids were excited. They were there. They were ready to ride through Kankakee during the night. So we really need help with that as well. Also, just things like setup and cleanup, supporting the team. I really want to stress the fact that social media is a huge tool. I always tell people to share. If you see an event, share it. There are tons of groups on Facebook. Really good groups, and really, there are all kinds of groups. I don't want to get into that, but there are a lot of positive groups on Facebook where you can share this news, and it's really important that we get the message out there that the city is doing things, and we are trying to reach everyone as much as we can, and we're really reaching out to our community partners. We have community partners who have partnered with us for these events as well. So I know Lynn will get into that, and Deb and Aaron, but it's really important that we share and spread the word. So if you have any questions, our team is also very creative. We're always working on something. We work on a lot of projects, but if you have any ideas, please feel free to contact us as well through the city's website. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine, for your update. I think we should turn it over to Pastor Aaron Clark now, who's going to talk about getting involved and some of the work you've been doing.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity. I love to be on this team because of the focus on reducing violence and the strategies that are being implemented to accomplish that, and the partnerships that are being formed and the relationships with the children and other organizations too. what I really wanted to share is like how important it is to participate. I think that for our children, one of the easiest conversations to start with children is when you ask them how they feel like the community feels about them. And a lot of our children feel like they're being looked down at. They feel like they're being prejudged. And when events like the bike ride or other events come up, the movies happen, the kids, they may not say it to everyone, but they really do look for the adults because they associate that with being cared for. And I have one little story, and I found this out later, but we fought to get kids on the bike ride, not just any kids, but some of the kids that were like really in a lot of trouble. We were really pulling those kids to get out there. And we come to find out 2 of those kids were actually in a gang. And they came on that bike ride and they ended up in relationships with adults who talked them out of a gang. So that's the importance of being involved. Not every kid that's in a gang or involved in violence or drug selling and all of that stuff really wants to be involved in that stuff. Sometimes it just takes somebody that can connect with that kid to steer them in the right direction. And it's not always me or, it really does take a village. So I know that some of the most influential people in my life actually didn't even talk to me when I was younger, but they were always there for me to observe their lifestyle. And I aspired to be like them. So being present is just so important. So that's what I want to say. And just coming to serve and handing a child a glass of water or a sandwich, it really does have a lot of impact on them. So, yeah.
Pastor, thank you. We are so glad to have you with us. And I just, it's funny how life comes full circle. And it's been awesome to reconnect with you and to see the work that you're doing in the community and the heart that you have for our kids. So I just want to thank you as well for being part of our team.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure.
And last but not least, we have Dr. Deb Barron. And Deb is going to talk with us about why it's important to partner in the community as well as with Kankakee United. And I just want to say that she, when I contacted her about this initiative and, talking with her that we have to do something differently. We can't just keep hiring police. Number one, it doesn't fix the problem. And number two, we can't afford to do that. Their salaries are, they have very good salaries and very good pensions. And that's not, just hiring more people doesn't stop crime. We've actually had a number of shootings that have occurred where a police officer was a block or 2 away. And Dr. Barron understands that. She's a thinker and she understands systems. And so I was really grateful to have her come on board to do this work. And she did a lot of data analysis, going through the data and understanding the data and what it was telling us. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to you now, Dr. Barron. And again, thank you for being part of the team.
Thank you, Mayor. And it all goes back to our early conversations, which were almost 2-3 years ago, when the mayor approached me and asked if I would help with this effort. And we quickly realized this. She said, it's not about hiring more cops. It's about changing hearts. And then Aaron came on board and we talked about the importance of forgiveness and giving our young people and even many of their families the opportunity to know that people care about them and to ask, what happened to you? How was your life affected that led you in this particular direction? What's the base of your anger? And again, I just want to applaud Aaron for the work that he's done with children to help them unlock the anger that keeps them from fulfilling their full potential. But this is an initiative that it's important to all of us, no matter what role you want to play, no matter how small or how big. We are desperate for adults to serve as mentors, to be, as Aaron said, present. yes, we need financial support from organizations, and that helps. And we need people like me, old white Grammy, being there handing out sandwiches or looking at data or whatever it is that I can contribute. But it does take a village, and you can see there are a number of organizations that have already come forth and offered their support and are doing things to help. And I just want everybody to look in their own heart, and especially in this day, which I think is a special time that we're living in, where people are serious about eliminating systemic racism, to improve racial equity, and initiatives like Kankakee United. No, we're not going to stop every shooting that happens in the city, but I think working together, we can greatly reduce them. I think we can reach out not just to the victims, but the perpetrators, and see what can we do? How can we help you turn your life in a different direction? But as the mayor said, it takes a village, and I implore you to think about how can I help? How can I quit sitting on my couch complaining about the young people in our community? How can I get off my porch instead of watching suspiciously and get to know the kids that live in our neighborhoods? And I think you will find a lot of satisfaction in that. And especially after we've been cooped up so much during COVID, that this summer, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get out and mingle and be with each other, host a block party, get to know your neighbors, get to know your kids. And that is, I think, really what will help us, those relationships, to eliminate the violence that we have in our neighborhood. So that's my 3 cents, and thank you, Mayor, for inviting me to be a part of this initiative.
All right. Speaking of parties, I'm like all ready for the parties. Like, we have been cooped up, and I think we should have a party in every ward. And I would be willing to work with the city council members to do that and contribute and just come out and have fun and love on each other. So I think it's so needed. One of the things we didn't talk about on this update is the impact that COVID is having on people's mental health. And Erin probably can talk a lot about that with the kids, as well as Dr. Barron, because that's kind of her specialty, is the space. She works a lot in the space of mental health, but this is having a real impact. People are dealing with depression. People are dealing with anxiety. They don't know, what to expect. When is this going to be over? It's created tensions, in families, with conflicts and fighting. And so, all of these factors are very serious, especially, and they have been exacerbated during this pandemic. So I echo what Dr. Barron said, just trying to reach out to one another when we can. Be kind. It doesn't hurt to be kind to people and to take care of people and to just check in with people. Your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, because, even with the city team, I watch them every day. And Lynn, I don't want to put you on the spot, but Lynn has 2 kids. And, she comes to work every day, and, she's taking care of her kids, and it's a lot on parents, especially when their kids are not in school right now and they're homeschooling. It's just been a lot on everybody. But the city team, has showed up. We've never been through a pandemic before. We may not have done things perfectly all the time, but we are doing our best to serve. And we want to make sure that we just continue to connect with one another and reach out and help each other through all of this. So parties in every ward after this pandemic is over. All right. Let me see if there's a couple other questions. Jasmine, our intern, I wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. If there's anything you would like to add or share about yourself and why you decided to come on board with the City of Kankakee.
So hi everyone, I am Jasmine Elliott. I go by Jazz. I actually went to the rival. I went to Bradley Bourbonnais Community High School with on the basketball team. Yes, I know, but now I live in Kankakee, been residing there for like 7-8 years. And now I just know that being a social worker, I'm very passionate about people, and something that drives me is like mental health and learning a lot. And something that's really interesting is that in order for us to change, we have to learn about politics, sadly, and getting more involved. And so that's why I'm very interested in helping people and just really passionate that, like, if you can start at the bottom, you can make it anywhere if you just put in the work and work together. So.
Okay. All right. Okay, did anybody have anything else that they wanted to add before we leave? Chief Cosman and Deputy Chief Hunt, I want to thank both of you for being with us tonight. You know, being the police chief or being a department head at the city is not a 9-to-5 weekends off job. You're on call all the time, and people don't realize how many hours you guys put in. And when things happen in the community, like gun shootings and responding to those incidents and the families, you guys, you know, you don't look at your watch and say, hey, it's Sunday, I'm watching football. You show up. And so I want to thank you guys for your leadership in the police department. I want to thank our police department as well for the work that they're doing. Scott, who had a lot of questions, I'm going to encourage you to call Jasmine so we can get connected. I'm sorry, Lynn in my office so we can get connected, and that number is 815-933-0500. I'd love to just have a conversation with you to answer any additional questions that you have, but we're going to go ahead and wrap up to be respectful of everybody's time. And again, I want to thank all of you. ECDA team, keep rocking it out. Been a long day for everybody, but thank you all. So we will see you next month. We have Kankakee Chats the last Thursday of every month. So our next one will be Thursday, February 25th at 7:30 p.m. I want to encourage everyone to follow all of the updates. We put out a lot of information to be transparent so that the community knows what's going on, what's happening. And we do that through the City of Kankakee's website, which is citykankakee-il.gov. Our social media platforms, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can stay connected to us. We also have a YouTube channel, City of Kankakee. And all of the meetings in the city are live streamed and recorded to the website. So even if you can't make it at the time of the meeting, you can go back and watch to see what's going on. We want you to stay involved. We want you to get involved. And we want you to figure out how you can help. We need all hands on deck. So we'll see you next month on Thursday, February 25th at 7:30 p.m. Be safe and be well. Thank you for viewing and attending tonight. Bye, everybody.